So I mean, yeah, I would admit the characters didn't really feel that memorable for me personally. I never really like, I play like obviously games like Crash Bandicoot. I knew straight away with like the intro cutscene that this was like a bumbling idiot, but he was a funny bumbling idiot that was spinning around like a crazy madman. And then you have like the crazy Dr. Cortex and his minions and stuff. They all felt memorable to me. And that was back on the PS1.
Yeah, down to the animations.
For everything that they did, and with like the few frames that they had to deal with and stuff. But
they made character.
They brought you in, and the gameplay was fantastic, and they made you want to. Well, I mean, if you like that type of game, of course, it would bring you into playing. Well, obviously, like the first game was really hard, but then they improved with like, say, next one or whatever, and stuff. So, but like, it was enough to make it memorable.
Yeah.
And then there's Kartos, the God of War.
Oh no, not him! I completely forgot about him.
You don't like Kartos, the God of War?
Oh my god, those kart mini games were just awful. They were just like, oh my god, they're the worst part of the game, to be honest, for me. Like,
well, are they better than was it Rextro, that little dinosaur, the Rextro?
Oh my god, I forgot about him as well. There's so many characters I forgot
There's
about.
so many, like, there's even a reference to Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight's like in the game, isn't he? Like he has a 3D model. And you got to do like different missions with Shovel Knight. So they've got callbacks, and like Rextro is essentially meant to be like representing the proper retro type stuff, like
those games were terrible,
8-bit, 16-bit.
They weren't like I was expecting, because when they was like, oh, I come across these arcade machines, it's like, oh, it's like an old. I thought they were going to be proper like retro little mini games, but I found them to be quite dull and like.
Were there mini games in Banjo-Kazooie like that?
Nah, they weren't nothing like that. No,
there's a lot of mini games. In this game.
Yeah.
I don't think they need that many personally. There is a lot.
I found all.
Like it's a platforming game, and I kind of wanted to do more core platforming. Yeah. But then it's always like, oh, hey, you'll get a pagey if you do this Rextro game, or if you go and ride in Kartos' cart.
Don't remind me of them.
And you can probably tell where they're going with the whole Kartos pun and pun and stuff and whatnot. So
those kart mini games were the worst part though. Like I could at least deal with those arcade game ones, but the kart one was just, I just found them to be so boring.
The worst one for me was the fourth one, because you had to fight a boss on top of that.
Yeah, and didn't you?
I hated that.
Yeah.
That's such a pain.
Yeah, and a lot of
that's one of the harder bosses actually. For sure.
And a lot of its attacks seem to seek, even though they shouldn't hit you, as when you like try to dodge things, but sometimes
you can't perceive it.
Yeah, and sometimes I swear some of the attacks were near impossible to miss, like to a point where like
a lot of the attacks are like
really lucky,
well.
to avoid it.
To try and avoid it is really a pain.
And there'd be sometimes 2 attacks with time at the same time, so it would literally be you'd get hit by one or the other.
I wasn't a big fan of the controls either. The controls. We'll get into the main controls of Banjo. Easy mistake to make of Yooka and Laylee, but like the control of the cart, a lot of the time, like it's like, oh, they expect you to speed up, they expect you to slow down. Yeah. Well, a lot of the time, you can't just slow down or speed up whenever you want.
No,
it slows down a little bit, and then you have to wait before you can do it again.
Yeah,
it's all about timing, but it's so precise to try and make certain jumps. Like I was trying to get the gem, like you have to collect enough gems to get the pagey.
Yeah,
and then like you get hit by something and you lose like 5, or like they'll put an enemy where there's like a golden one. Yeah, where it costs about 5. But they position it in such a way that it's so hard not to get hit. So you get hit, but then you collect the 5, and you're losing 5, and then you just get back the 5 you just got. Exactly. So it's not even worth it. So it's like, why even bother?
Slow you down to a point that then makes, because sometimes you hit something and it'd slow you down to a point that like it's literally impossible for you to collect a few things for the next part. Yeah. So not only are you getting punished by losing some of the gems you'd collected, but also you're now not going to collect the next lot, and sometimes that slow you down to a point that you're now going to fall off the track and have to start all over again. And just like, but no, that's not even that I found it difficult to a point that because I don't think it's difficult. I think it's more just
I think
the controls are so bad on that cart, and the way they've positioned to make it so precise to a point that's so precise. Not many people are going to be able to even do it.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning it to play a game that's near impossible to do. I'm playing it as like I thought it was going to be like a fun little platformer,
and then you've got all these
like I don't
games.
like people say like Banjo was hard, but I don't think it was that hard. And even Banjo, I had issues with the controls because obviously it's old, so the controls aren't great. And that's what I think the issue with Yooka Laylee is. They tried to redo old controls.
They were trying, and
whereas there's things that you should improve. Like
they kind of said
didn't.
That,
they tried to recreate it to 100%.
Which is what they like. People had this like similar argument with like Crash Bandicoot, where like Activision had to do everything themselves because they didn't have the source code because it was Naughty Dog who created the original. And so they had to create their own controls. And some people like saying like, oh, the controls seem fine in like 2 and 3 because of the way how the first game was in the original. The controls were really stiff and janky, but the game was designed around that stiff and jankiness. So then when you've got the loose control of the other one, it actually causes like if you're somebody who's never played Crash Bandicoot, it probably wouldn't affect you as much.
Yeah, because you've not got that muscle memory of the old game.
But when you're a veteran, a lot of people are veteran playing Crash Bandicoot, when you come back and you don't have that janky control and it doesn't fit with the layout, that's what caused a lot of people's deaths, including myself.
And I heard that with that, there's a few hitboxes that were actually too big for the things.
Terrible.
Yeah, that were too big for the actual thing that you were meant to do. So it was like next to impossible to do.
As a shout out to the SGB crew, which is a crew I sometimes watch, they were playing the Insane Trilogy, and they had a lot of collision issues with that game. Like at one point, like you've got the nitros in Crash Bandicoot, where if you instantly touch them, you die. Well, a few times they literally touched it for a second and nothing happened, and they literally just said, "What the fuck is a hitbox? Like, what the fuck, Activision? Like, the fuck is a hitbox?" Like, and there's been at times where like this, like sometimes there's like flames that you jump. And you jump and the hitbox starts before the flame actually appears. So you think, why did you get burned when clearly you didn't even see the flame even appear? And it's the collision wasn't great. And you know, it had its problems. I do feel like a lot of these games that are being modernized do have this type of problem.
Issue,
I mean, did you played Banjo-Kazooie? Did you play the second game? Banjo-Tooie.
That's what I was going to say actually. I've never actually played Banjo-Tooie, and I've heard that Yooka Laylee's closer to Tooie than it is to Kazooie.
I hear some people say that Tooie improves on Banjo-Kazooie. Obviously I don't know.
If there's anything like Yooka Laylee, then it hasn't.
Okay, so we talked about like the controls for the cart.
Yeah.
Banjo, not Banjo. I'm gonna keep saying it, guys. Expect that. Hashtag Banjo. Yooka Laylee. So, I think, I mean, at first, just because you got your standard moving about and you jump, and then you get the double jump, so you can kind of like fly, and you got like the spring bounce type of thing, and the different abilities you get. I mean, the controls, they're not terrible for me, in my opinion, but I will admit, some of the moves, like the rolling move.
Oh, I hate the roll.
I feel like, I mean, it's great to speed around. Being a Sonic fan, I like speeding around and stuff. But I do feel like it's hard to control.
Yeah.
When you want to turn around, it's very tricky. Yeah, when you want to turn around like on a dime, you can't really do that. You can't really do that. You have to literally come out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, you eventually get the ability to just fly whenever you want. And I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I think the flying is terrible.
Yeah.
I think it's really bad.
That also makes a lot of things really trivial to do. Like the first boss in the game, I didn't actually play because I didn't realise that was there.
That was the first boss I struggled with.
I didn't actually find it until I'd already had that flying ability, which makes that boss super easy to beat.
I honestly didn't know, because what I felt was a little unclear was like I didn't realise that you could jump out of like the rolling, because sometimes I've tried to jump and it wouldn't let me, so I was confused. And you also get like there are certain things that Yooka, other than like the flame abilities, like Yooka can suck up, like I think it's honey, and it's supposed to make it so that you're like sticky, so you can like roll onto certain surfaces. See, I didn't know about that either, and it's just things like, oh, okay, so now I can like go on the ice,
be able to do that,
because I couldn't go up this ramp. I guess I just can't go up this ramp. It's like, no, you gotta absorb, you gotta find where the honey is, and then you can go up the ramp, or or whatever, so I was really confused. And yeah, like the first boss, I didn't know you could like jump over the logs and stuff. I eventually did it, and because of how it controlled, I thought you had to get a load of momentum, but you can literally just, because I think it's like you hold R2 on the PS4 anyway, and you know, Yooka would roll up into a ball and Laylee would run on top.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much stand still and jump, and I didn't really like, even if you like roll, you can kind of just stop and jump up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, a lot of things I feel like just wasn't particularly like, even when Trowser gives you a description each time you talk, and he just kind of says, yeah, press this to do this, to do that.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what else you can do with it.
Yeah, I didn't find
like
the descriptions to be very good at understanding
really
explaining
how what you do with the ability.
It was, but there was one ability that if I remember correctly, I couldn't even figure out how to use the thing. I think it took me ages to work out how to. I can't actually remember what it was, to be honest.
So there's the tail spin, which I think, I'm trying to think. Does he give it? Is that the first ability that Trowser gives it to you, or do you have it by default?
To be honest,
it's your equivalent. It's basically like a crash spin essentially. It's your general attack. It attacks both enemies. You got the breath abilities. You know, some that are used for certain things, some that you can use to attack enemies and stuff. And then you've got the spring bounce, which is just basically like a super jump, I suppose. You've got the flight, which is essentially like your double jump, and then like Laylee will try and glide you over.
Yeah.
That's like before you get the actual full flight. You've got the sonar, which Laylee uses to like show like a sonar shockwave type of thing.
Yeah.
Which are meant to be used for like certain, like some objects don't appear apparently, and you have to like use the sonar to make them appear and different things like that. And you can also roll up into a ball and use like a sonar explosion with that as well. I think you also had, what else do you have? You had the what was it? Yeah, the invisibility, which I talked about, which you get later on. You also had the sonar shield, which I didn't use for like ever.
I found that to be pretty useless ability, to be honest.
The most I ever got used for was the last world, because it was designed, a lot of that was designed around that world.
Yeah.
Like there were all these like laser berries in the last world, and they were like, yeah, so apparently you can use her shield. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually getting some use for this, because I pretty much never used it at all.
Yeah.
Until I got to the 5th world, and because I forgot about it. I was like, how do I get past this? And they're like, use your shield, and I'm like, I have a shield. I was like, oh yeah, I've never really used it, because there was never really no use for it. They say like you can use it to protect, but you didn't really need to. You can like fly away or something.
Yeah, or just most of the enemies I found really easy just to kill.
Yeah, it wasn't really too much. I think the only ones I had trouble with like the big bruiser type guys. They seem to take a lot of hits.
I found them to be just annoying more than anything.
They're like kind of like charge into you and spin around and stuff. They take forever to kill. A lot of the time I would just try and ignore them if I can. But like this is one point in the last world where there's this like electric thing coming down into space world. I was like, what the hell do I do with this? And I swear I tried using the shield before and nothing happened. And I tried it again, and then randomly this like electric ball just bounced off of Yooka and Laylee, and then I could just move it about, but it had to remain in the shield. And one of the things in this game is that you do have magic. And you don't get too much magic to begin with, and you have to find magic upgrades yourself, which are hidden around in the world. Same with your health, because you have health via butterflies. That also refuse your magic, so you can you press the circle button to use the tongue for you to recover your health, and you jump into it or walk into it or whatever in order to refill your magic. But there are a lot of times where they really want you to use a move, which most moves take up a lot of your magic.
It doesn't last.
And if you haven't found any of the health upgrades, you might be kind of screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
There's like one bit where you're like, I assume this is how you meant to do it, because I didn't see how else you meant to do it. There's like this like air draft fan, and there's a pagey randomly tied up, and it says, "Oh, Captain B tied me up, help!" And I'm like, how the fuck do you get into this? And you get an upgrade to the roll ability, which I think they literally just call it the spin dash. So I guess they're literally just being, hey, hello Sonic, I suppose. I don't really know. They're literally calling it the spin dash. But it's literally like a charge up move where you hold the square button and you can charge up a boost. Again, you just by sitting in the rolling ability, I believe that costs magic just by sitting there.
Yeah, I think it does.
So then you roll and then you charge up by pressing the square button, and that also consumes more magic. And I felt like even with like nearly every upgrade, I think I missed one magic upgrade I missed, and even then, like I felt like it was very tight to get that page because the draft is pushing you back. And you also have those annoying camera enemies that scan the area, and they throw like lasers at you.
I actually remember
that. To be honest, they're like little they're just like little robot. I kind of remember like a Rob robot, where they're onto the ground and they've got their big eyes, and they're always like scanning the area like around in a circle. And if you get caught into it, they'll like shoot their lasers at you.
I remember now.
And they're on top of like the controls and where they're put. It seemed kind of hard because you had to kind of like dash past them, but you're being pushed back by the draft. Your magic is going, you're rolling, and you're trying to charge up by pressing the square button to dash past them. But a lot of the time, like I'll just smack into them, and as soon as you smack into them, you lose all momentum. you just come to a dead stop. So you have to restart. It just seemed like such a pain.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be careful with your magic. I literally was like, okay, I need to go around. I need to find upgrades because I feel like I'm gonna need this, and you do. I feel like you need to. I don't know if it's possible to do it with the basic. You'd think they would design it around that, and that the other magic is optional. Arguably, it's kind of like with Wind Waker, like with the magic on the Deku Leaf. I think it is designed mainly for like the main story, so that you can just make it to certain areas, but optional quests they expect you to have the upgrade, so it's like okay, it's optional, so it doesn't matter. But I can't 100% confirm this, so I mean if anyone wants to confirm whether they've not gotten any upgrades and you can do it, then I'd greatly appreciate that. But it seemed very tight to me.
If it is possible, it's probably really annoying to do it that way.
It seemed very tight, but I don't know. In terms of the abilities, most of them control pretty bad.
Yeah, I
in my opinion.
Because I really didn't like the controls at all. Like I felt like they were too slippery, and like you didn't really have any control at most points in the game.
When I was flying, a lot of the time I just wanted to turn around because they expect you to fly around, like because you have a lot of flying tracks that you have to do, and they expect you to like do tight turns, but you can't really do it. With the controls, they don't really. I'm trying to turn, they don't really let you. And it's like, oh, this is annoying. And a lot of the time, I would just have to like run out of magic because I can't keep flying, and I'd have to like stop, take a breather, and I'd run out of time. And because all these are like all timed and stuff, which is just really didn't help. And I mean, okay, so those are like the main controls. And then you've got like obviously we briefly talked about different abilities you've got. Obviously one of them being the flower, got the snow truck. The third one, I can't remember what the swamp one was actually.
That wasn't the one with the fish, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, the fish.
Yes, you were a bunch of fishes. I mean, I kind of like that one, but you again didn't get much use.
Yeah, like there was only that small pool bit in the
You were
middle,
literally like a bunch of piranhas.
And that's like literally the only part that you get to use it.
I found it quite satisfying just gnawing through things, but you didn't really get to use it. It was literally just like you were in a pond, have fun. Yeah. That's it. Like it's just a small enclosed area. You couldn't, because everywhere else is just like toxic sewage that you can't stand on, hurt you. So that was it. So the one ability that I somewhat thought was okay, you couldn't really use it that much anyway. Yeah. So it's just like, oh, okay. And then you had the helicopter in the casino. Yeah. Which I would arguably probably controls a bit better than the flight ability in my opinion. Still not great, but I felt like it did control better than the actual ability to fly. And you didn't have to worry about magic in that one. So obviously
you can just use it
you had to do that. Yeah. But I think I was saying to you before, like I think when I used that transformation, a lot of the things where they like pan to like the camera and stuff was not effective because I was still the helicopter. But when I went back to Yooka and Laylee, I go to like grab something and the camera would pan randomly. So they didn't really like, I guess, consider like transformations and stuff. They just kind of removed some of it off. Alright then, let's talk briefly about the camera then. Right. So, okay, I don't feel like you could turn on a dime. I feel like it does have a similar problem with the controls.
Yeah.
And the camera would kind of shift a bit unexpectedly.
Yeah,
at times.
I felt I hate games that take control of your camera as it is. Some games they have to do it, some they don't, and they do it anyway, and that's stupid.
Yeah.
But I felt like they switched the camera in angles that just made no sense. And there was literally, I was pretty sure there was literally points where the camera would switch in a way where I could literally not see my character because it would switch, and I'd be somewhere where it is out of view of this camera. So I'm trying to figure out how the hell to get back into view so I can actually continue. But like, and that would just stick there, or I'd like the camera would, I'd be like doing your like hover across a platform, and the camera would switch, and not only has it switched now, your movement's slightly changed. So like I'm like, now how the hell do I get back? And then I'd die, even though you don't really die. It's like impossible to die.
You don't get game overs in this game. Did you get game overs in the original Banjo?
Yeah, you could get game overs. Yeah, you lost, and you had to collect lives, and you'd lose the lives, and you lost too many.
I guess they figure they try to go for like some of the modern mentality, whereas like, they take away lives. I don't know, but yeah, you can't game over.
No,
you
so
just
like
reset. You just reset to an era.
That'd just be annoying rather than like, because like I wouldn't care about dying, because once you've collected, like you could literally do something, collect what you needed, even if it meant your death, because you've got it now. You don't need to worry about it. Whereas in like Banjo, if you did something stupid and died, and you lost all your lives, that'd reset the level. So like you could obviously collect the puzzle pieces, but if you were collecting, say, them notes, and you died or lost all your lives, you've got to collect all those puzzle pieces again. So if you jumped in a way to collect it and die, and you're screwed. That's not going to benefit you.
Yeah. See, the game pretty much auto saves.
Yeah.
In Yooka Laylee. It's one of those things where if you collect a load of quills, make sure you get like a pagey to save it, because if not, and you leave the world, you have to go back and collect the quills again, because they won't save otherwise.
No.
So that's the thing that I sometimes forget. Like I'll go back into the world after like a week, and I'll be like, well, and I thought I could have sworn I did this already, and because it hasn't saved it.
Yeah.
And I was so confused. And that's another thing. A lot of things do reset. Like you'll hit a button to open something up, but then if you leave and you come back, you have to do it all over again. Unfortunately, it doesn't stick, so you might have to go through like some elaborate labyrinth or something if you need to go back to the area and do it all over again. I do wish that some things were just a little bit lenient and would just kind of, you know,
so
not
having it
just waste your time to do it again.
Especially nowadays, since I don't have much time to play games. Like maybe like if I was playing this as a kid, maybe I'd enjoy it more, because I can redo stuff and like. But like nowadays, most games, if they take too long, I'm gonna just quit, because it's like, oh, I ain't got time for this shit. I've got like work most of the time, and then when I do have time, I'm either too tired or I don't have time to do stuff. So I prefer. That's why a lot of games I play nowadays I can complete within like 5 or 6 hours. And I sort of prefer it. That's why I don't really play RPGs anymore, because they take so long. I'm just like, well,
see, that's what I'm saying, developers. You need to consider
our bloody
people
time
who don't have time to play your long ass games. You hear me?
Because like, what do I say that? But then there's like, because there's things that I can play. I play open world games, and I can like, I prefer there being a lot more stuff. But that's why I play them. But with some games, I feel like they do stuff that wastes your time in a way that's just like, but you're not adding extra content and you're not making it harder. You're just wasting my bloody time. But I don't know. It's just. I suppose they're doing it because it's like they're not really thinking about the people who want to be able to just do this stuff and not have to worry. But I don't know. I find a lot of things that waste your time is pointless. It's just let me do it. Just let me do whatever it is and keep it. Stop wasting my bloody time.